What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TW Motorsports, and today, well, we're back on the white Trans Am, and I don't know if you guys watched the last video on it, but we did get the brakes all assembled, got the rear suspension in, we got the windows tinted. But I was in a thrash to get it completed, and one of my bleeders did not want to bleed, and I didn't tell you guys that in that video. But today we're going to replace that bleeder. It is completely frozen up, stripped out, so I've got a new replacement, and I'm hoping, guys, that I don't have to replace the caliper. I'm hoping I can get this thing out. You can see it's already dirty just from driving it the one time to get the windows tinted. But yeah, that's the plan today, is to get that off. Now I have another plan. We're gonna mess with the wheels a little bit, see if we can clean them up, make them look a little nicer. I don't know how far we'll get on that, but for sure I want to get this bleeder replaced. I want to get all the wheels off. I want to re-bleed the brakes, starting with the back and working our way forward. And that is ultimately the goal to get accomplished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's see if we can do this with one hand here. We're going to take this guy off. And you can see, well, maybe you can see, try to get you a little closer, but it's kind of crusty looking. And I really wish I'd have broke these loose before I painted them, but hey, hindsight is 2020. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go grab some towels, I'm gonna spray a little bit of WD-40 just kind of right there in that area and let it set for a minute. And then we're gonna come back, I'm gonna get probably a pair of vice grips. I'm gonna tap it a couple times with the hammer and see if we can pull it out. So I can't get a pair of vice grips to break it loose. I've let it set for about 20 minutes with the like PB Blast or WD-40 on it, but what I did was I hammered another socket on, and actually it's supposed to be 10 millimeter, but I think I put a 3/8 on here. So I'm hoping it acts like it's threading out. Now getting this out of here may be a hassle, but it seems to be threading out, which is a good sign. So what I'm going to do before I get it all the way threaded out is I'm gonna go grab our new bleeder, which unfortunately, guys, you have to buy in a pack of like 10 or 5, and I'll try to list them in the description down below. But let's go grab it and see if we can thread it in immediately after getting this one out. So you can see our new one here, and I can already see some brake fluid coming out. I got some towels here handy, but I think I'm gonna put the ratchet back on here. And guys, I had a couple people say, you know, why don't you use better ratchets? I actually have another set, but because I'm so picky about them getting dirty and they have that like soft grip, they get so nasty that I hardly ever use them. I know that's crazy, but holy cow, that's a lot of junk. Let's see if we can thread this back in, this new one, and then try to get some of this junk wiped off here. It's gonna make me crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move the camera and get some more towels. Got it in there. Sorry guys, I really wanted to show you a little more of that process, but when the brake fluid starts running on that new paint, it's, you know, you want to get it off as quick as possible. I didn't have enough towels over here, but you see the old one down there all stripped out, worn out, and so we do have it replaced. So now obviously we need to go bleed the brakes. I won't show you guys that process. My power bleeder, like I said in the last video, for some reason bleeds off. I think I need that new piece of rubber that goes under the hat of it. I've never had that issue with it before, but you know, as a matter of fact, I've used it on other GM products and it's worked great. But either way, got that replaced. I am going to go ahead and put our piece of rubber back over it, at least just get it setting on there. I'm not going to close it off because we're going to come back and bleed it. But anyway, got part of this accomplished. So now let's go over and look at the wheels. I want to talk about a couple things that I don't like and a couple things that I want to look at doing. I actually may have to, I don't even know why I put that on. I may have to take that back off to bleed it. Maybe not, we'll see. But let's go take a look at the wheels. Onto the wheels, right? Holy cow, I'm getting in deep here, guys. But some things I don't like about the wheels. First and foremost, the clear on these. If they're not well cared for, guys, it starts to break up. And I don't know if you can see like areas where the clear has broken. They actually look pretty decent on camera, but they are not. So I'm gonna pop the center caps out. Well, I'm gonna try to in a minute, I guess. But besides that, I wanna try to possibly strip down some of the clear and see if we can make them look a little nicer. Now, the downside is the clear does help keep them looking nice, and so it won't have any clear, so they'll be more like a polished wheel as far as keeping up with them. But I keep my vehicles pretty clean, so I generally don't have this problem. This is all because of people putting tires on over the years and getting the clear started to break, and then just poor maintenance, you know, not taking care of your car. But besides that, you could see this giant, I don't know if you guys can see this, but look how big this thing is. Let's see if I can turn that. Look at it's like a curb feeler. That's not gonna work for me either. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm taking these to my tire shop, and they're gonna rebalance them because the tires are actually in really good shape. The only downside is I do have one mismatched tire. I don't know if they just got into a situation where they didn't have any. These are this BFGs, and actually a pretty good tire, in good shape, no dry rotting, great tread. But besides that, they also balanced the wheel on the outside. If I ever saw a balancer guy put a weight on the outside, even on a turd car, I would lose my mind. My tire guy knows, and he's actually the guy who bought my FRC Corvette. He knows how picky I am. And so I'm gonna pop both these things off with a pair of pliers, get them out of the way, and then I think what we will do is we'll start with the barrel and try to get the barrel here on the inside cleaned up, make it look a little nicer. That's just years and years of brake dust built up and looks really tacky. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time like polishing that. I don't even know how good we're gonna get this to look, but there's probably gonna be a lot of time lapsing here, guys, because as I start to clean this, and then I'm gonna show you what I'll talk about what we're gonna use to strip it. But for the most part on the barrel, we're gonna be doing some time lapsing, and then we'll move over to the front and see if we can get this clear broke up. Now, just to start out with, I'm gonna put a little brake clean on this and see what we're dealing with. Holy cow. This is going to be a lot of work, I have a feeling. Yeah, look at that. I don't know what I'm gonna use on it, guys. I may grab some power clean and a brush, and maybe even a drill brush, and start here just to see kind of what we can loosen up. And then I don't know from there. We'll just have to see. Maybe some steel wool on the barrels. I don't know. We'll test it. I really think I'll move to a drill brush, but let's try some power clean and just a brush to see, you know, how bad it's going to be. Normally I do this outside, but it is, I think, 6 degrees right now. And I got about a 1/4 inch of sleet on the ground. Yeah. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to get some steel wool, if I had to guess. It's better, but that's some deep down brake dust, and of course brake dust rust. So I'm gonna grab some steel wool and just kind of run it across there and see what we get. Now I'm going to a roll-lock wheel with a red Scotch-Brite. I don't think that's gonna help much. I think this is pretty deep in the metal. Yeah, I mean, it does help, but it's gonna make deeper scratches that I want to spend time getting out. Yeah, I think that's just gonna pit it up more. I may just use a Scotch-Brite by hand, because that's, or maybe some of this with the Super Clean. I wonder what that would do. We're just experimenting here, guys. I would sure love to have something that I didn't have to do it by hand. I think we're gonna have to do it by hand. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna make this look polished because of the way it's textured. It's kind of like you can run your finger on it and grab nicks. So I don't think I'm gonna get that crazy on the inside. I think I'll just give it a good cleaning, then go over it with this, maybe a Scotch-Brite or steel wool, and not worry about getting every little imperfection out. So I changed gears a little bit and I put my wire wheel on my drill, and it seems to do a little better job and doesn't scuff it quite as much as that roll-lock wheel. So I think that's gonna be the method, but I'm not gonna really be able to show you guys this stuff, and I don't know how in-depth I'm gonna get on like these little cracks and crevices. I don't think we'll be able to get much out of those, but I am gonna lay the wheel down, at least get the face right here, get that scuffed up. But I ultimately think I'm gonna wait a little bit until it warms up to work on, you know, like the polishing of the barrel or anything like that. I'm not gonna get real crazy with polishing the barrel. I just wanted that, you know, that junk gone. So when you're looking through the wheel at the bottom, you know, that I can live with that. I'll probably go over it with a Scotch-Brite and some polish to get the scratches out that I put in with like that roll-lock wheel and the drill. And I did that in this section here. I'm gonna try to go, you know, like this direction and not cross-hatch. So I think that'll work for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then we'll come back and we're gonna talk about how I'm gonna try to strip the clear off of this thing. At this point, guys, it's been probably a couple weeks since I started this process and showed you the last clip. And so what I've done was obviously we've taken the tires off. I took them to my tire guy, had him take the tires off. I was gonna replace the valve stems anyway. You remember I had those big long like curb filler valve stems, but I used a drill brush and a wire wheel and cleaned up the barrels. So you can see how much cleaner they look. I tried some different kind of stripping material and it just didn't work great. So didn't show you guys that. But at this point, I want to see if we can maybe knock this clear off. And so what I've got here is some aircraft remover. I've got a couple cheap brushes, and I'm going to paint this stuff on, and we're going to see if it will strip this clear off. Now, ultimately the goal is to strip the clear off and then, you know, polish these to a brighter finish. We're gonna see. I've never had really good luck with this. I've done this before on a set of Tahoe LTZ wheels, and it just didn't seem to work out. But aside from that, I'm gonna mix this stuff up, just shake it up. It's just aircraft remover. Pour it in that, and then we're gonna start brushing it on. I'll kind of show you guys in a time lapse of how it's pulling that up. And then I haven't showed you guys this, and I really want to do a different video on it, but I bought an electric power washer, and I sprung for the power washer, and I also got a little short nozzle that works with a foam cannon. And guys, I'm telling you, this thing is amazing. So what I'm planning on doing is we're gonna let this stuff set, and then I'm going to power wash, you know, basically the junk off of it. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys this. I think I may make a different video on this, showing you guys how well this attachment works, because I did spring for the quick connects, the swivel, so makes it really nice, a nice hose. And I mean, I'll list this stuff in the description, but look for a video down the road going over this. I've been really excited about this, washing vehicles, especially in the fender wells, you know, getting some pressure instead of just a garden hose. But let's get you guys set up, and let's see if these things will strip down. Now, I've got a couple cheap brushes. They may fall apart. I don't remember this stuff being black, so maybe it's no good, but we're gonna try it anyway. And you want to brush in a kind of the same pattern, so going the same direction. I'm pretty sure this stuff is probably no good, because I thought it was clear. But we'll paint it on anyway and see what happens. Like I said, you want to put it in the same direction. You don't want to cross, you know, go different directions with it. And I guess we'll see here pretty quickly whether it's good or not, you know, if it starts to strip. Looks more like stain. Yeah, it's no good. I don't even know how long I've had this stuff. It's probably been around for years. But they generally don't make as good a quality because of EPA standards and whatnot. They don't make the quality stuff as far as stripping material that they used to. Well, I don't know. Because it's not, all it did was dry. It hasn't started to lift anything. I'm wondering if I'm gonna have issues getting it off. Probably a good idea when we're rinsing it off to get some, I mean, obviously I got gloves on, but it's probably a good idea when we're rinsing it to get some eye protection in case something blows back in your eye. But I think I'm gonna see if I can grab another product. I don't know what's available here local to me, but I'm gonna go see what's available, and then we will go from there. We'll see if we can recoat maybe another one with something different. Well, we're gonna try the same stuff, except maybe this stuff has a shelf life. And so I went and got some new, same product. I'm interested to see when we pour this out. I also got a can to put it in instead of stealing one of my wife's baking pans. And shake this up, and let's just see if it's a different, yeah, see, it's supposed to be clear. That's what I thought. This stuff's potent. I've got the garage open, but if you're doing this, guys, in an area, make sure you've got plenty of ventilation. Golly, this stuff, yeah, that's that stuff was definitely bad. This is terrible. All right, so we're gonna try again here. And I really want to get in this area here, so I'm gonna have to probably, I've got another smaller brush that I'm gonna have to use. I should have known when I started with that other stuff that it was supposed to be clear. live and learn. Because I don't know how easy that's going to be to get off of there. It's already bubbling. You can see the clear bubbling over here. And I'm gonna go get some goggles for when we're rinsing this off. These areas where the clear is already broken, hopefully they'll go a little easier. And this could be why I had such terrible luck before. Look at that. Look at this already bubbling right here. That's what we're looking for. This is such a crazy long process, guys. I talked to my powder coating guy about powder coating them. I really like the polished look on these cars. And so I couldn't do it. He did tell me if I brought them to him with the wheels broke down, he'd strip them for me, but I think he was gonna sandblast them. And that would just make it harder for me to polish. Man, this stuff's strong. And some people use a scraper. I don't know, we'll see. All right, we're gonna let that one set, and I'll cut back in here in a minute, guys, when that's set for maybe 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna go ahead and coat the other three, or the other two that I have, and then I'm gonna have to figure out a way to wash this other one off. This is what we've got after one coat. I scraped a little bit on it, you guys saw, but so we've got one coat here. I took it out and power washed it. What I'm planning on doing here is I'm gonna go ahead and power wash the other ones, and then I'm gonna time lapse. I know I keep telling you guys I'm gonna time lapse. I'm actually gonna time lapse at this time, and then you'll get to see the progress as we go. So we got quite a bit off, but as I assumed, it's going to be, a lot of work. I don't wanna scrape anymore, so I think at this point I'm not gonna scrape. I'm literally just gonna apply the stuff, let it set, go out, power wash it, and repeat that step until I get the finish or the results that I want. I read a couple guys that have done this on these wheels, and they said that that was the best process, is to just continually coat them, rinse them, coat them, rinse them, coat them. So it may take us a while to get it accomplished, but that's the plan. So this is after wash number 2. Still got some stubborn areas, but it's really shining up. When you take that old dulled clear coat off, man, it looks better. So we'll go for a third coat and see what happens. I think it's gonna take, I mean, just based off what I've done so far, I'm thinking, guys, it's probably gonna take 5, maybe 6, unless I wanna start sanding or something. And I really, really don't wanna sand them. But let's add another coat. Before my 4th coat here, I decided to use some 2000 grit sandpaper, and I really did not want to do this, but there's just some areas I think it might help. So what I'm going to do, I mean, this is a little damp for me rinsing it off. So I'm going to go around the lip, the wheel, and then I'm going to go rinse it off, and I'm going to put another coat on. I'm trying to stay somewhat with the grain of the wheel, meaning like, but we'll just see how much of a problem that creates for me. It may be a huge mistake. It may require a bunch more work to get the scratches out I'm putting in, but I'm hoping not. I think it'll break up some of that, you know, remaining clear, so maybe it'll come off a little easier or bubble up. At least that's what I'm hoping. I also took a file and cleaned up. There was a couple spots that had curb rash, so I tried to clean that up as well. I don't know. This is turning into a huge project, guys. After sanding and one more coat, this is what we've got. Hopefully you guys can see. I mean, it does have some scratches in it, but it looks a lot better. And so I've got all 4 of them complete. There's 2 more there and then 1 over there. So what we're going to try, I've never used one of these. We're gonna try some Mother's aluminum polish. And I know there's a lot of people that say like blue coral works better. I don't know. I've got some other stuff that I may try, but I've got this ball or cone or whatever, and I'm really hoping, guys, that it does a good job, because I don't want to do this by hand. I really don't. So I'm going to set you guys up on the tripod. We're going to see how much, you know, life this stuff and the ball or the cone or whatever it's called brings back. And I'm hoping, I know that I can't get really aggressive because that's foam. I probably am gonna have to get a different buffing pad, but we're gonna give this a shot first, see where we go from there, and hopefully, you know, this is all it's gonna take. I got my neighbor's dog over here helping. I don't know if you guys can, yeah, you can see him. This isn't food. He thinks that I'm gonna feed him. I don't ever feed you. What are you doing? So we kind of need to prime this up, because it doesn't have anything on it. He thinks I'm talking to him, and this looks like food to him. Ooh, that's a little sketchy. It looks like it unscrews. I don't know, that means I'm probably not going to be able to put a ton of pressure on this. Let me know if you guys have used one of these before and if you've had any luck. Let's give it a shot here. It's obviously doing something because it's turning black. That means we're taking stuff off. get a rabbit here and see what we got. That looks pretty good, I think. But obviously, look at that cone. Doing something. That looks pretty good. It took just about every scratch out that I put in with the sandpaper. That's pretty impressive, guys. Okay, well, we got a lot to go. I don't know that I'll time lapse all 4 wheels, but I'll definitely time lapse at least one of them here, and we'll kind of see how it goes. You know, I don't know if that's probably way too much. I don't know how it's gonna go. We'll just have to see when we get to these, you know, these more intricate areas. It's gonna do as good a job, but sure looks like it's doing good. All right, we'll get the time lapse going. You know, I'm pretty freaking impressed. This thing is doing an amazing job. The only issues I'm having is trying to keep it in my drill. It wants to spin out, and that's just because I can't get it real tight with my gloves on. So you can't argue with this result. I mean, this, you really can't tell as much. Like, the only areas that I'm having issues is like in this crack right here, but I can do that by hand. You know, that's not gonna take much. So this is pretty impressive. So I think at this point, guys, what I'll do, you've seen it in action. When I get one wheel complete, I'll show you kind of what it looks like. And then back to the tire shop we'll go and see if we can get the tires mounted back on. And yeah, this is exciting. The other thing is I'm gonna get another towel. So I'm thinking like one to wipe the heavy soiled areas off that I get here, and then another one to follow it up to kind of, kind of buff it to a shine, I think is the way to go. But I'm impressed. We spent probably about, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes on this. I've done each section twice. And while there's still some imperfections in it that I probably could work really hard and get out, there's some haziness in some areas, but it looks really, really good. So I want to show you guys 3 different wheels here. So what we've got here on the wall is one, and don't ask me if these are for sale. They're broken on the backside. I know it looks like they're not, but this is the exact same wheel. But this is with clear, and you can see it's kind of got that milky look. And then we stripped all the clear. We get to this point where I haven't buffed on. Got all the clear off. We've got it wet sanded, and you can see, the scratches and haziness. To this, which is completely finished. I did go over the barrel a little bit, but guys, I'm telling you, if you wanted to spend some time here, I think you could get these things looking really good. I think we could go over it with some 3000 grit, maybe get something a little better than this. I don't even know that this is gonna last through all 4 of these wheels. It's starting to, there's some pieces coming off of it. I don't know, maybe it lasts, maybe it doesn't. But either way, I'm really happy with what we've got. You know, this car isn't perfect, and the cool thing is I can go ahead and have the tires mounted, and this is something that we could go back if we really wanted to shine them up even more. And I mean, this is gonna be like a 9 out of 10 for most people. I wanted to tell you guys before we mounted these things, obviously you can see I got the tires on now, but I only was able to get 2 wheels done last night. And then I went around the third and the fourth one just on the lip, and then around like where your valve stem goes in, just because I wanted to go ahead and get the tires mounted. One thing I will tell you guys though is my cone started to come apart. So what I did was I've got like a wool cone, and it does a way better job of getting down and getting quick results. But I don't know if you guys can see the hologramming that it makes, and it gets really aggressive. And so what I'm thinking, because the cone is softer, even though it started to blow apart, it's still quite a bit left. So I'm thinking we go over it with this, like I've done on this wheel. I went over this whole wheel with this same stuff as far as the material that I'm using. And then I'm gonna go over it with the cone for a second pass. And then on the third pass, I'm gonna actually apply it by hand. That's what I did to this one over here. This is the one you guys saw at the end of the video last night, and it looks really nice. And so if they all will come out like that, I think I'll be happy. So that's the plan anyway. So I'm gonna go grab the cone, I went over this once, and I won't show you guys any more of this. I just wanted to tell you, I don't think you can make the mother's cone, because it's foam, I don't think you can make it last for a whole polishing session. You're gonna need something a little more aggressive and a little more, a little harder, like this wool one. And this kit came with like, and I'll list it down below, it came with like 5 or 6 different ones. But I think you need to start there with that, then go to the mother's, or even just this and do a couple applications by hand. But either way, it's a lot of work. I will tell you guys it is a lot of work, but that's all I'll say. The next thing you guys will see, I've still got to get the brakes bled and get these wheels on, and then we'll set it down on the ground and step back and take a look at it. So here we are finally, guys, after days, weeks, almost a month of having this thing apart, or the wheels off anyway. We're back on, and I'm gonna go to the other side so you can see it a little better with the lighting. It's kind of dark over there, but yeah, a ton of work. Would I recommend it? I don't know, guys. You know, I get to those points where midway through a project, you're like, why did I do this? Why did I ever start this? And that's the point I got to with this. And I really, really like these factory wheels. I think they're some of the best looking wheels GM ever made. They're just really good looking, but I started looking at other options because I was so tired of working on them. I mean, between breaking the tires down, multiple trips to the tire shop, breaking them down, putting them back on, just the work that went in. Like I said, I probably spent an hour and a half a piece on just the barrels with that wire wheel, busting up all that old junk. And you know, look, I'll take better care of it. And hopefully if this thing ends up selling, I think I've got a couple people interested. I would take better care of it so it would never get to that point, but others may not. So either way, I spent about an hour and a half on that. But what I will tell you guys is, from my experience doing this, you know, I told you earlier in the video, I priced having this done, it was $220 per wheel. And I thought that was too much. And it really ultimately boiled down to time. I think though, if I had to do it over, I would start by probably wet sanding it with 1000 grit all the way over the entire wheel before I did anything else. And then I would put that stripping compound on there, which you guys saw. I'd put that on there, and I'd still go through 2 or 3 times doing that. So letting it set, bubbling up, go power wash it off, repeat that process, maybe even up to 5 times. I ended up doing it like 5 times on these. So after that, I would probably go over wet sanding it with a 2000 grit, and then you could probably start the polish, or you could go to a 3000 grit and polish after that. But like I told you earlier too, the wool pad that I got, or the wool adapter, I think it was a little more aggressive and did a better job at getting it to shine up really quick, but it also left some haziness. And then that haziness came out with the mothers. So the first one I did completely with the mothers, and it turned out really well, but it took twice as long. These other 3 went way faster. So I think you learn as you go, and maybe you guys have a better process. And please, by all means, share it with me in the comments section if you have it, because I struggled with doing this. Like I said, I went back and forth, and then I didn't show you, there was some curb rash on a couple of these, and I just took my file and filed across it and just kind of straightened it out, made it look nice. Could these be better? Absolutely. I could have spent hours and hours on these, but ultimately they look way better than they did. It's not even comparable to the way they started, and you guys saw that at the very beginning of this video. But aside from that, we also got the brakes bled again. I got that new bleeder screw in the passenger side front that I should have done originally. Guys, if you're gonna paint these, make sure all your bleeder screws come out so you don't have to worry about doing that after the fact. But we're finished for now on this. Now we still got a lot of the interior panels out. You can see the door panel sitting over there. So I think in the next video, we're gonna get back in the inside and start reassembling. But I do have a person that's wanting to come look at this thing. So I was trying to get it together so he could at least look at it. Like I told you guys, I think I'll probably end up selling it. It was never meant to be a long-term thing anyway. And, but I am loving the looks of it, I will tell you that. It's kind of giving me some fire, hopefully, for the red one. But either way, guys, if you did enjoy this video, if that's something that you think you would want to tackle, or you've done it and you have a better option or better products or anything that could help me out going forward in the future, please let me know in the comments down below. Like always, though, if you did like it, smash that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, go down, hit the subscribe button. Of course, ring the bell icon that notifies you every single time we drop a new video. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.